Why, hello there everyone, and welcome to another tutorial by me that's been uploaded in the same year. Who could fathom this idea? No, I've been asked in the last How to Make a Mod series tutorial video in the comments on how one would make an engine swap work, and we're talking purely in terms of the numbers. So, having the power and engine and drivetrain from one car physically, so to say, in the other car, not adding some sort of 3D model or anything like that. No, just purely the physical aspects of one drivetrain in a different car. And because this is Assetto Corsa and we can do whatever the fuck we want, I've decided to use this Audi S1 as my little specimen. This is the boy that is going to receive a new engine. And obviously the very first step in this is we're going to make a copy of this car, because we don't want to mess with the original files. We want to always make a copy so that the vehicle in its original state is still usable. So I've made the copy now by going into the folder here, copying the car's folder, pasting it and renaming the new one. And this is the second Audi S1, apologies. It is basically exactly the same vehicle as of right now, but we are going to change that. For example, if we go over to our folder, we can see that I've renamed it. It is originally called the KS_Audi_A1S1, and I've called it the A1S1i6 because of a very simple reason. This car is going to provide the engine for our little Audi S1 project. So this is going to be an M3 competition powered Audi A1/S1. We can do this because this is Assetto Corsa, and no one's going to tell us we can't do this. And the process of this is really quite simple. For both cars, you're obviously going to need unpacked data. This one already has unpacked data, and our Audi S1 has both buttons illuminated, which means over here we're going to have a data folder, which is what we want, and we have the data ACD file. You can remove the data ACD file once the data folder exists, so we're going to just do that. To get this data folder, again, you just need to click Unpack Data, and it unpacks the data ACD file into a data folder. And then you just, again, need to remove the data ACD file. Now, in the folder of our BMW, we're going to go into data, obviously, and we're going to need two files. Simply, there is an engine.ini file in here that we want. In this file, you're going to see all your little bits of engine knowledge, including turbos and damage, but also two files. We have the coast LUT, which can be inside of these folders, but I believe can also be like a source of common file, so you may not find this. And most importantly, the power LUT, which is the actual power curve that the engine is making. So closing this, we have the engine I here, then down below we have the power LOT, and further up we may have the coast LOT. Now again, this depends on the vehicle, but we can't find one right here, so this one doesn't seem to have one. You can take the throttle LOT if you want to, but it's not necessarily something that is very car specific. So with these two selected, we're going to just hit Ctrl+C to copy those. Then we're going to go over to our Audi file, go into Data, and hit Ctrl+V to paste those. Replacing these files in destination, yes, that is fine, we want to do that. Now they are replaced. And if we now go here, over here to our Audi S1, I'm going to just quickly name this in brackets M3G80 swap. And after that, I'm going to hit save, so that's saved. We still have the same power curve, obviously. But if we now go here and hit calculate using data only, we can see the transmission loss. I usually keep those at what it's set as standard, but you can see we have 450 wheel horsepower and 587 newton meters. Update torque and power specs, yes please. And now we have here our very beautiful little Audi S1 with the M3 engine. Now this has been updated here and this curve, so we have to save it again. And now this is basically done. You now have a 500 horsepower front-wheel drive hatchback. Sorry, all-wheel drive hatchback. Though you can now, if you want to, also swap the drivetrain over. If this was front-wheel drive, and the M3 is obviously all-wheel drive, you can now take the drivetrain from this car and put it onto this car. It's a bit more fiddly, but for the sake of experimentation, we're going to do this so I can show you how it's done and you know how to do it on different other cars. So, here we are in the BMW's data folder again, and we have the drivetrain INI. I've taken a short look into it, and this is kind of wrong because it states that it is rear-wheel drive, so the car is rear-wheel drive, which the M3 competition is not, but the normal M3 is. But we're gonna still use this. So again, close this, copy the drivetrain, go over to our Audi A1, S1, paste the drivetrain, replace it in the destination, and here you are. We don't need to update any of this because, well, it's just replaced the drivetrain. And if we now hit drive, this thing should absolutely work as intended. Remember, there has been no visual changes to the vehicle. There is a case in which you will have to do some fine-tuning. If you, for example, want to have the entire suspension of the BMW inside of your Audi, you're gonna have to adjust the wheelbase and probably the track width and the base wire. So like the adjustment as to where front and back your wheel is positioned. But we are not doing any suspension work here, we're just doing the engine and drivetrain swap. So how about we chuck this in game and we'll give it a little go. Now we have this error coming up while we're loading in. It can't find the audio for this vehicle, which is something that I admittedly have forgotten to do, but this is quite convenient because it can often happen. No, I would not like to start the search now. The game crashed because there's no audio, obviously. So back here with our Audi, it can't find the audio file that's attached to what the file name of this Audi S1 is called. Again, A1S1 i6. So there's a really, really simple solution. We're going to go down here, bless you, Content Manager, and click Replace Sound. In here, we can now, it limits the maximum RPM. We can also go to all, but we can probably just type in M3. And we have none of those. Oh yeah, it also limits it to base Kuno's, so base game models, which we don't want since we have the M3G80, which is a mod. So we go to all, we go to type in M3G80, and here we have the M3G80, and click OK. And now it has the sound of a BMW M3G80. Again, we're going to try and start it again, hoping that there is no new error message. And here we are, finally in game. We can hit play, and the sound may be very faint, but we have a BMW M3 engine sound. If we want to now test a bit of Go, again, I am here on keyboard currently because no steering wheel or controller is plugged in, but that doesn't mean that we can give it a go in a straight line. And it is a little bit of a rear-wheel drive hot hatch. That is quite powerful, as you may be able to tell. So I think this operation has been a wonderful success. And if we take a look here, there's no issues with the drivetrain, with the track width, the length of the suspension. The lights still work. It is all good, all fine, all fancy. And we have a BMW M3 swapped Audi A1 S1. This may not be the most stable of vehicles in its current state, but let's also just quickly test out. Oh, Yeah, okay. But it does have all 7 gears, so the drivetrain swap obviously has worked. So, with that little bit, I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's any questions concerning this, please drop them down below in the comments. I will be happy to help everyone who asks and everyone who I can help. But until then, stay safe everyone, and goodbye.